YouTube. Say hi to YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
There you go. Uh-oh. I don't know what I'm doing.
Born ready.
As ready as we'll ever be. You were born ready?
The Toyota San Bernardino Recording Studio presents IE Newswire Daily with Roy Bleckert and Stephanie Meyer. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Yes, we are. We're back on Fantastic Friday.
I didn't know what we were going with.
So I kind of trolled that out a little bit on that. We had a little technical trouble yesterday, if you were wondering why we weren't on.
Did we ever?
I mean, everything was
Right
working.
when I got everything up.
Yeah, everything.
And I remembered all the steps, though, except for one. I forgot one step. But
Oh, boy. Yeah, sometimes you should go back and listen to your some of your little sayings that you put in there. But we had everything up. Everything was working fine. We're
why do
running
you
it.
get to say it, but I can't? That's not fair.
I'm just laughing.
That's like, whatever. Anyways.
So everything was working fine. We were getting ready to do the show. Boom. Getting ready to call Cliff Cummings of Toyota San Bernardino. Stephanie says there's nothing on the phone.
Nothing.
The internet was working. No internet. No nothing. When it was working 2 minutes ago, it was working absolutely perfect. I mean, you couldn't buy this any even better. That and this is why I hate these cell phones. As I had it up there. Look at this. At 5 p.m. on the dot, it is on my cell phone, and Frontier is messaging me. We are aware of an outage affecting the address that we are at here. We currently do not have an estimated time when service will be restored. I mean, how in the heck could they make sure that the internet and phone system both cut off right at 5 o'clock when we were ready to go on the air yesterday? The timing of that to me is uncanny. Of how that how that executed. I mean, we're sitting here ready to go, and then boom, nothing. And I mean, it was dead. It was dead coming in the box. I mean, the data light was off. The red light was on fail. Thinking, well, we're not getting power. We're not getting power coming in, so we're deader than a duck on this. But hopefully they'll fix this, because every time it rains down here, we seem to have this problem of that reoccurring. So they are coming out Saturday. And the technician put some stuff in her. I mean, the guy that was on the other end of the tech line was pretty cool. And he said, if they don't replace the box and the lines in there, tell them to read the blanking notes that I just put in.
Ooh.
in here.
Fine words right there.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens on Saturday. And hopefully they'll get this, because it's been a recurring problem. Every time it rains, the system slows down here, the internet slows down, the phone, or we get thrown off, or it's not working correctly. So there's obviously some sort of bugaboo in this whole enchilada.
A bugaboo?
Yes. Very technical term. Maybe the.
Wow.
That's it kind of rhymes, or it kind of goes in conjunction with the letters AFU, but figure that one out. But yeah, I was trying to be nice.
Jesse's like, what?
Ding, ding, ding.
What? I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Anyways, I'm just more disappointed that I had everything up. I had my cameras, buttons down. It's all good.
Yep,
I wasn't meant to
and
produce
we
the
did
show,
that.
I
We were
guess.
actually, and we had Mason. We were set up to come on. We haven't had
I know,
him
we
in
had
a
a
while.
good lineup.
Yeah, we had everything.
That always happens, though. Whenever we have a
Yes.
good lineup, or we're going to have callers, or we're doing a giveaway, stuff crashes.
Yes, it
Do you
is.
think someone's working on the inside and they're doing it on purpose?
Maybe somebody's sabotaging.
Maybe
or,
you should stop pissing people off, because, well, I don't know. It could be me, too. We love you, Frontier, and its employees.
Well, we'll see if they fix it this time on the whole enchilada. A lot of stuff going on.
Enchiladas.
What?
Enchiladas, no. I want cheese one.
No beef,
Nah, I feel like cheese.
cheese.
Yeah, with like jalapenos in it.
Just cheese stuff like macaroni cheese. Isn't that just kind of cheesy?
You know what? It kind of is, and I don't really like dairy that much, but I want a good cheese. I had a really good cheese enchilada
Cheese is a
today.
good complimentary to me. Cheese is a good complimentary food item, but it's not a main. It doesn't go well to me as a main
Okay,
part of the.
seriously, and like now I'm hungry, so let's just stop. But write in all you viewers on what your favorite enchilada might be.
There you go.
Now
What's
I'm
your
curious.
that? No, you obviously that must be a generational thing on the enchilada stuff. That used to be very popular back in the.
Enchiladas?
Yeah.
I used to make them all the time. I make shredded chicken ones.
No, the saying like that I do that.
Oh, I thought
you
we
know,
were talking about eating it,
Well,
not just talking it, but whatever.
well, I still think enchiladas are in vogue, but
What's your favorite food?
whatever I'm eating at the time.
You don't have a favorite particular
Not
dish?
really. No, I like practically anything.
Really? You don't have like one thing where
Have
you're
you ever
like,
seen me eat? I mean, you're hollering about don't eat all the beans. Well, they're here.
No, Christmas Eve, you go to my parents, and it's like scoop, 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 scoop. You were the first one. Like, what the hell?
I tell everybody when you if I'm around and there's food out there, I tell everybody you better get it. Oh, there people say no, you go first. I said no, you really don't want to do that because there might not be anything left by the time I get done with this. So you better. Yes, you better get. If you want something, you better get it now.
It was insane.
Because the human garbage disposal will take
This
care of
guy.
it in a hot flash on
Won't
that.
he?
No, I really don't. I mean, I like all kinds of stuff. It's I mean, I really don't have a favorite food of. I mean, I don't have like you said. Well, what's your favorite color? I just like bright colors, all bright colors. That's what I like. It could be yellow and red or blue or green. As long as it stands out, I'm good. So I mean, I don't really have a, I guess I just don't have a predisposition to favorite stuff.
All right. Well, that's cool.
But anyway, a lot of big news coming up today on that. Some of it good, some of it not so good. Very early, about 4:00 this morning, there was a very tragic
Aw.
situation in Hemet. There was an apartment fire that went on, and unfortunately, 3 people lost their lives in it. And the tragedy
So
of it,
heartbreaking.
there was two girls, I think 4 and 11, and the dad was 41 or something, but he went back in to try and rescue the 2, and all 3 of them perished. I think there was a younger sibling, a boy, that's in very grave condition. The mother and another child seemed to be pretty good, but Eddie George of Hemet Eye News had some great video of that on the scene, and then they had some actual video that we're going to roll here in a second, and tell me when you got it ready to go. It's ready to go. This is this is live.
Heartbreaking.
This
This
was
is,
on the scene.
like,
Some of this stuff.
devastating.
Yeah, this was a devastating fire. So let it go. Yeah, this is the man. He's dying. Or he's in there trying to save his daughters in this fire. So those of you watching on the video, I mean, you could see the horrific fire. You could hear him coughing in there, trying to, probably trying to look. But I mean, in that kind of fire, there would be no hope of grabbing or getting anybody out in that. The fire rescue, firemen and fire rescue people are there just standing outside because there's no way they're going in through that. I mean, that's just like certain death of that. So, yeah, that was
But as a parent, though, I love that man for going up there trying to save
yeah,
his
I mean,
kids.
I mean, that's a lot of guts to try and. I mean, and he
How
did.
could you not?
He paid the ultimate.
How could you not?
I mean, he paid the ultimate price for trying to save his 2 daughters.
So sad.
On that deal. So yeah, go ahead and that's.
Yeah, can we stop this video before I
Of
start
that.
crying? Jeez.
But no, I mean it's it's an unfortunate situation, but you got to.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, sometimes you got to make those. I mean, if it's kind of hard to and you never know how you would react in a situation like that, like you say. But I mean, is it better that you die and you're not here when you're faced with an impossible situation? I mean, that was a situation where the two girls were probably gone. I mean, there was no saving them. They were probably already dead in the deal with the big you see the flames.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand that. I mean, it does.
But like you're saying though, knowing that, would you want to live every single day knowing that? For me, it would kill me inside, wondering that what if.
Yeah, I mean, you got to weigh that value judgment again versus your other kids that are there that survived are not going to have a father because.
But did he have other children?
Yes,
Oh, he did.
There's one other son was in grave condition, but the mother and one of the siblings I think got out. I mean, with moderate injuries or like that. So you got to kind of weigh that. And I mean that's got
like that. You wouldn't be like,
Well, yeah, but I mean that's
react,
got to be yes. I mean that's got to be the ultimate tough decision. Either way is not to me. Either way is not right or wrong.
Right.
And that there's really no there's no right or wrong in that. But definitely understand. He probably just figured, well, I'm going to go in there or die trying to save them, and unfortunately, he passed away trying to rescue them or trying to get them out of that burning blazing Hemet. So we'll follow it as we get updates on that or the cause of the fire or what was going on. But again, very sad and tragic situation that happened today, very early in Hemet today. So, on that
makes me seriously like how that's like horrible. That is a tear-jerking story. For
sure. I mean especially at this time of year, everybody, Christmas, New Year's is coming up, and then
to lose 3 people, not just one, but 3.
Yeah, 3.
That's horrible.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay.
Now
well, let's talk about
another sad story.
Yes, we'll get rid of those on that.
Hi, Ann. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, unfortunately today,
Rex and Carla says, "What a beautiful day, guys! Snows everywhere."
Yes, it is.
All right,
on another semi-sad note, but radio legend Don Imus passed away today. In fact, a lot of people didn't know that, but he was actually from Riverside, California. And grew up in his early years around this area. And I think Paris, California, too. His family moved out there on that. But, I mean, he was, Imus in the Morning was a very, very, very popular radio show for many decades. And, millions of people tuned into him every day to hear his show on that. And he wasn't without controversy. I kind of called him Howard Stern light. I mean, he wasn't over the edge as quite like Howard Stern, but he bumped up against that he had an edge to him, and he was not afraid to speak his mind or push the envelope on that. I think we have a, I think we have a Fox News video kind of doing the career of Don Imus. So when you get that ready to go, let that roll, Jesse. Brett Bear on Fox News Special
we reported radio personality Don Imus passed away at the age of 79 this morning in Texas after being hospitalized on Christmas Eve. Let's take a look back at his life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Imus in the Morning.
Usually when I leave a job, I'm escorted out of the building by security.
Born on July 23rd, 1940, in Riverside, California, John Donald Imus was a broadcast host known for his controversial humor. He was raised on a cattle ranch, but made his way into a career in radio that started in the late 60s. His talk show, Imus in the Morning, on WNBC quickly became a phenomenon.
When you say stuff about people and then run into them, how does that go?
I never run into them.
Oh, you don't?
I'm never invited to anything.
You're the governor of New Jersey. If you're not pulling down a lot of money, then you're not
well, that's the problem.
Not in the great tradition of the state.
Breaking tradition, Don. Breaking tradition and not taking those envelopes of cash.
I don't go around and pretend to people that we know you really well or that we hang out with, that kind of thing.
You know me pretty well, Don.
This Affordable Care Act is going to be repealed.
think it may collapse.
What are you doing? Are you drinking something? Does somebody say to you, don't wear a coat and tie when you go on these shows?
When you're not running for anything and you're going to be on a radio show with a cowboy, I didn't expect you to have a velvet jacket and a black tie on. I mean,
it's corduroy.
One of the most popular talk shows in American history. It lasted 36 years on radio and 11 years on MSNBC until it got canceled in 2007. The I-Man's career was put on a brief hold after offending Rutgers University's women's basketball team members.
These comments, as deplorable as they were, I need to stand in front of them and say I'm sorry.
In fact, this was neither the first or last time Imus's refusal to hold back his opinions would almost cost him his career. Back in 1996, his speech at the Radio-Television Correspondents' Dinner was viewed as insulting, namely toward President Bill Clinton and First Lady Hillary Clinton. Fans say they loved him because he refused to be a hypocrite.
We all heard the president, in his obvious excitement, holler, "Go, baby!" I remember commenting at the time, I bet that's not the first time he said that.
Rolex track up.
In 2009, Don Imus made his way back to TV, debuting on Fox Business Network. Imus in the Morning would go on until 2015.
I talk and they listen. Please don't contact me.
Then he went back to radio. The host was inducted into both the National Association of Broadcasters and Radio Halls of Fame. The I-Man won 4 Marconi Awards, also known as the Oscars of broadcast. He would make appearances on David Letterman and was also featured in shows such as 60 Minutes.
Each weekday morning on his nationally syndicated radio show, Don Imus broadcasts a raucous repertoire of sophomoric smut, occasional bigotry, and frequently inspired political satire.
The radio star was also noted as a philanthropist. Alongside his wife, Deidre, he ran the Imus Ranch for children with cancer and blood disorders. He was diagnosed with cancer himself and also battled with respiratory problems. Don Imus's longtime career and unique personality are now remembered by his family and tens of millions of fans coast to coast.
The legendary and controversial Don Imus was 79 years old.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I used to listen to Don Imus a lot on the radio. And one of the things that impressed me about him, like you've seen that, whether it was Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, John McCain, Chris Christie, or anybody else, I mean, he got all the, number one guests, and he didn't pull no punches with them. He let it fly right up it is. And, from those two that say, well, you shouldn't do this and da-da-da-da, I mean, not that I ever will be a Don Imus or something, but that's why.
No, but seriously, watching that, it's like you're like his twin.
Yeah.
I'm so serious. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Roy. That's like his idol right there.
I mean, and I mean, maybe I picked it up from him with doing that, and that's why probably I have that. When people are here or when I say things or interviewing and stuff, I mean, I just let it fly and say it how I feel it. Because I think there's and even with Don Imus, even though he got himself into trouble with stuff like that, and they kind of touched on it, there's a genuineness that you see in that this guy is really, he's not BSing you. He's not a suit up there, with the perfect this in the background. He's like somebody would run across every day, and I mean, he said it like he felt it. He and did that, and that was a major part, I think, of his success. And Don Imus would not have been a success as a traditional news broadcaster, even though he had the great deep voice, the perfect broadcast voice to do that. He would have never succeeded as just a television anchor or something like that, or playing by the, let's say playing by the politically correct rules or whatever.
Yeah, you definitely don't follow those either.
But that's what made him, I think, a great success, and I think that's why he had millions of people listening and following to him. And bottom line, that's why he was entertaining and fun to listen to on that, which I did many hours on that because his show was piped in on a few radio stations over the years in this area on that, and so yeah, he was one of my favorites. That never.
He seems really cool.
Yes, and one of the sad things for
shame.
me is, yeah, I never actually got to meet Don Imus,
Aw.
and I really wish I would have.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, mainly because he grew up out here. That, and I think it mentioned he was
And
born.
it's like your twin.
He was born in Riverside, and I think.
Was he?
Yes, and I think in his early years, up until he was a teenager, went into the Army. I think the cattle ranch he was raised on was out in Paris.
Oh wow!
So his parents moved out to from Riverside to Paris, and had a cattle ranch. I think that's where it was. So that was it. And I think that. That down homeness, that hillbilly stuff with the cowboy hats and everything.
That's definitely where you get it from.
As that, well, that was the culture out here. That's the way most people looked, dressed, acted back in that time, and that's just that would be like most of the people you met, back in, let's say, the 50s, 60s to 70s. That's the type of people that were here. That's who we, you were into farming or cattle ranching or, doing all kinds of things with that. That it was a, more of a rural Western culture out here than what you see today, which is like vastly different. So, I mean, that's kind of, the way I see it with it is that, and probably why I listen to him a lot. He had his brother Fred Imus on here, which that guy was another, and like a totally 180-degree opposite delivery approach to things than that. But it was funny when they were both on, funny and entertaining when they were both on the radio with him, and the whole crew he put together on Imus in the Morning. It was a fabulous radio show. I really enjoyed it.
Well, that's too bad that he is now gone, but at least you have a great memory of him, and he's your twin.
Well, that's probably the best compliment that you probably ever have or could give me, because I mean,
seriously though, watching him and then sitting next to you every day, it's like, I mean, obviously he's probably better, but
yeah, obviously, yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
his
there's no
delivery
sliding,
might be better,
yes.
but no, like you said too, he's real, he's genuine, and I think that people do respect that in a person when they see that. I think they do. I think a lot of people do respect you as well for being that way, for the most part. Unless you're talking about them, then no, they usually don't respect you for anything.
Unless they're the one that they're on the roasting grill at the time, they're probably not real happy about it. But no, I kind of get that. I mean, I get that feedback a lot from people, and I really do.
I think sometimes it's shocking because you're harsh, and people aren't used to that. People want that sugar coat. They want that little, it's okay. You suck, but it's okay. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, no, you suck. Stop talking.
But I mean, they want that same thing like Don Imus. Hey, this is the way it really is. And
but when it's not about them, then it's like, oh, look at that guy. But when it's about them, it's like,
But I mean, and I think I kind of take your point as a respect. I mean, even though he was, he could be harsh and direct and to the point and humorous and that, all the big names still came on his show.
Right.
Because he, obviously had a big audience, but they still.
And they probably had some sort of like trust. Like he knew if I said I don't want to talk about that, then he wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah. Well, it
But
is.
you're like that too.
True. I mean, if you, a lot of times the people will come up with, hey, what do you want to talk about? If you don't want to stay on a subject or you're uncomfortable with it, a lot of times, unless it's like something that's like a news story that's out there. But I mean, and a lot of people, and I think a lot of it is too, and I think a lot of it, I mean, and I think Don Imus did, I think, and a lot of us, we love the debate. We love, and we say things, sometimes we say things just to, light the fire, or, this is going.
Do you ever?
Well, this is going on and stuff, and, you see the train wreck happening, and like you were saying, people are trying to foo-foo it and stuff, and you sometimes,
people like the foo-foo.
Somebody's got to.
You just break any type of foo-foo.
Well, sometimes you got to do that to make, to
it's
get
good entertainment.
To push the envelope on that stuff and actually, get to the real crux of the matter. And sometimes you get to the real, if you really want change or stuff like that, sometimes you have to do that. That's just part of the deal. It takes a blending of all kinds. There's the appropriate,
Boy, you ain't blending nothing. No, I'm just kidding. Doris writes in, "Hey, Roy and Stephanie and everyone listening. I am at home eating enchiladas now." I'm jealous, Doris.
There
Send
you
us
go. Yeah,
Send us some.
she's eating enchiladas and you're not.
I know. And she's states away, so.
Isn't that the old Chevy Chase line? And you're not.
Whatever. I'll get enchiladas one day. Hint, hint, anyone listening. I want enchiladas.
Yes, enchiladas. No, enchiladas are great.
You can just keep talking about it now. I want them. I want In-N-Out
Shredded
too.
beef enchiladas. Well, that would probably of the enchilada family. That
I would go
probably
chicken.
be that would probably be my favorite.
Jesse? Chicken. Green sauce or red sauce?
You guys are not even in the. You shouldn't even be talking about sauce.
Why?
Because nobody here knows what what you call sauce is like.
Oh, to get out of here. No, your sauce is just like, no. You don't count. You're not allowed to be in this conversation. It's Tapatio, chilies, pepper, salt, the rest of the pepper, and then go to the store, buy another bottle of pepper and Tapatio, and then put it on top of it again. Right? Did I get it?
Close.
No.
Tabasco.
Ah, that's a Tapatio.
Yeah, Tapatio is lightweight. Extremely lightweight.
I don't know. You're insane.
I resemble that remark.
But we love you anyways.
That's good. Got to have some people. If you didn't see insanity, you would never know sanity.
True.
So there's got to be there's a purpose for insane people like me walking around.
I'm still trying to figure out what that purpose is. I don't know.
That roll up the IEN news story on the hardware store closing that Laura Martin did. That's kind of a tale of what's going. You see a lot of the undercurrent of what's going on in California on that, and it kind of goes to the point of what we were talking about of the massive transition that we went through in this region. Another Workman's Hardware was an Ace Hardware store down in Riverside. They're closing down. They cited a lot of reasons. People are not coming in to shop at your local mom and pop stores of all kind, including hardware stores. They went through the price. They said some of our prices are cheaper than some of the big box stores or online. Some are more expensive, but we made it up with service or tried to that. And we had a 7,500 square foot store instead of 100,000. So there was a lot of stuff that we didn't have. But, and then there was the problem, and as Laura Martin put on the on IEN Newswire, another big problem were the vagrants, hanging around the building, people not wanting to come in. It's all kind of and again, this story just kind of reflected to me just how the changing culture was back when Don Imus was born, or I was born, or that in the 50s and 60s and 70s, you could start a small business, you could start a candle ranch, you could start a hardware store, you could start a burger joint or a dress shop or whatever, and you could make it. There wasn't 10,000 people telling you what to do, how to do it, 43,000 permits, and $200,050 later of this and of that, just to open a simple small business. It was like, heck, go find a place, rent the building, sign the lease, stock it with inventory, do what you want, run in the ovens or stuff to make enchiladas or whatever you were doing.
Stop with the enchiladas.
That, and you were on your way.
Like salads or something, so I'll crave a salad.
It was, and now we've created this culture or a system of that, like it says, the title of it, Vagrants in California Economy Sink Another Riverside Town Favorite. We're losing that connection of that. I mean, there was the just last week, the Redlands manufacturer, the rags from manufacturers machinery that, that polishes stones and stuff like that. Small biz, 50 people, 20,000 square feet. moving from Redlands to Meridian, Idaho, and they're saving enough money just on their electricity bill that they can hire another employee. Just the electricity savings of that. There was the small aerospace manufacturer up in Simi Valley that is left of that. And I mean, who knows of the hundreds of thousands of them that have left, during the last, 3 decades on that have been going on back and forth, have left. And it was just, it's another sad story of, and you see them all the time. You're seeing small businesses and stuff closing up, can't make it for a lot of these reasons.
But why would, not saying this isn't true or anything like that, I'm definitely not saying that, but why would they say that it's because of homeless that they're closing?
Because like not only this, like the young lady who has...
Because they don't want to go in there?
Yes, like the young lady at the bar or at the beauty salon or whatever up in up in Sacramento or whatever it was, that said, my customers got a trip or got to walk over the vagrants laying in the street, and I got to pick up the poop and the pee off the deal.
At this point, you're losing your
had
store that you've put probably your whole life savings into. Why aren't people stepping up, standing up, and doing something about it? It's sad that these people are saying, we're just going to close.
Well,
that's horrible. You're letting the homeless win? Why?
Well, that's a great question.
Why, Roy? I want answers.
I talk about it all the time, and you holler at me all the time about it. Now you're pounding on the table.
Hurting my hand.
Of that.
I'll contact my lawyer to contact yours.
Nice.
I'm just kidding.
That's another reason why businesses are going out.
That's insane. That's heartbreaking. But you know what? I get it, because today I was at a coffee shop and waited way longer than I should have. But we're not going to get into that. And there was homeless everywhere, and they're on, their little trip, and it's for me, it was scary because they're walking by, they're making these comments. I'm a woman by myself, so I'm like, oh my God, who knows what this person's going to flip out and do if I say anything, so I got to look down.
Yeah, you're
it's horrible.
Yes.
And I will go back to that establishment. I'm not saying I'm not, but if that continues, I would potentially not want to go there anymore. And I drink coffee like it's my life.
And so, I mean, I get that. It's just like me. Yesterday, I'm at the Smart and Final little store over here by Alessandro in Paris. Same thing, where the CVS was. There, I mean, there's like 10 or 12 of them under the shade over there on that. And it's sad. Smart and Final has a sign out that says, "We apologize for those that are sitting out here, yada, yada, yada." And that's again, if I was you, I'd be very, I don't even like I'm looking,
right.
I'm concerned walking through that sort of environment.
Right.
I can imagine how you feel walking alone in that, in those circumstances. No, I don't want to be the next victim of whatever crime that's going to be, whether it be a robbery or, up to murder or something else, because we're reading these stories all the time of what's happening.
Yeah.
So, again, and I think Jesse said, we were talking about it the other day, he says, 10 years ago, I never seen any. I didn't even know they existed, people homeless. They just weren't there. And, all of a sudden...
And even when they were nice. They minded their own business. It was their choice. They would, kind of just come and go quietly, I would say. Because I remember one year, me and my sister, we went and gave this homeless man, who we knew was homeless, he would come to a gas station to use the bathroom, and then he would leave. He would never ask for anything. He would never leave trash.
Right.
So one Christmas, we decided to go and give him candy canes and tell him, Merry Christmas. He was so blessed. It touched his heart. He's like, no one's ever talked to me. Why can't they be more like that? If you want to be homeless, that's fine. Mind your own business. Go somewhere else. Let's not be crazy.
That's what I was talking about back in the day. When you had the hobos or whatever, they used to ride the trains and whatever and do that, and you kind of lived that lifestyle. They kind of stayed to themselves. They were out of the background. They didn't bother, and for the most part, they didn't bother anybody or do anything on that. And like you say, you never noticed them. I mean, unless you were at the train station or something, or seeing them hopping on the trains or something.
Right.
But it was, again, but we have allowed it. We have made it. We have made it convenient. We have actually funded it. Again, you want to attract more of it, just start doing that. So again,
Can I guess?
Yes, I think we have a call.
Is it Dwayne?
We have a caller on the line. on the line. So who we got on the line?
Hey, Sonny boy.
What's up, Pop?
Well, I'd like to tell you about the deal. Me and John, for ever since we've been retired, we get to go coffee early in the morning, and we get to watch the working girls over there at where we stay, and you get to see the dopers selling dope and the dopers coming in and buying dope. And we sit there and get entertained. Of course, every once in a while you get one that freaks out on you and stuff around there, but we had them running around naked and bouncing their ding-dongs around and having a big time up and down the parking lot because it's dark time. You know what time I go to coffee early in the morning. It's still dark, so and we sit in the truck and just watch the show. It's like watching a free movie.
Yeah, you get better energy. Yeah, well, again, maybe we should be marketing that in Moreno Valley or these cities. Yeah, better,
live entertainment.
Yeah, better entertainment than you get on the movies or something. Even even those of you that go into the XXX rated stuff and paying that, you don't have to do that. Just come out here and watch this.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's something to watch. And then as soon as it starts breaking daylight, they kind of like cockroaches. They hide. They go away. We watch this every morning. Me and John sit there and laugh. Now one of them come up to me. Not too long ago, John. And he got close to the truck. I says, he gets close to the truck, things are going to get exciting. And he kept coming up close and asking for money, no clothes on, running up and down, showing everything he had.
Wow.
Doing the streak. And and this is terrible. And then we get to see the wrecks right there at the on-ramp at Paris Boulevard. It's, people just running into, the drunks, they sleep on the sidewalk there. We see them, and one of them, two of the beggars was beating up on each other, and one was laying on the sidewalk, and the fire department came there, and they were trying to get the guy up. He wouldn't want to get up, and I says, "Well, do you want to know where the other guy was that beat him up?" And he says, "No, just get away from me." The fireman told me, "No, just get away from me. We don't need this.
Yeah.
We just let him lay there." Yeah, it's sad, but it's entertainment. Every morning is entertainment before I come down there where you're at.
That's insane.
And I'm sure if I go in every corner early in the morning, you'd see that.
Yes, you can get a sideshow of this. Like you say, you have the early, like you say, kind of like that, and then like I say, 9 o'clock because it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock, which it's been dark for like a couple hours, and I had to go get a few things over at the little Smart and Final, store over here, and like you say, they're during the daytime you never see them, but like you say, early in the morning you go over there. If you go over there late at night, they're back out and all that stuff, and we kind of laugh, and I guess you kind of laugh about it because you would cry about it, but that's the difference between like I've been talking about. That's the difference between today and what it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. You never saw anything like this. That just... Oh,
yeah. And two other things before I let you go. Over at Stater Brothers, I used to get the dog food over there, and I was going to walk in early in the morning. They used to open up earlier, and it's still dark. The guy comes running out with 2 bottles of wine, and the clerk trying to chase after him, and he just walked out the door, and the guy's running with the bottles of wine. Then I went up to Food for Less and watched the guys going run out the door. So now at Food for Less, this is how bad it's gotten. Food for Less, you have to go in the one door and come out the other. Well, early in the morning until it gets light, you have to go out in the outdoor where the cash registers are because everybody runs in the indoor, grabs everything, and runs out that door early in the morning in the dark. It's entertainment in this town.
Yeah.
At least you see it as entertainment, though.
Yeah, well, if you do, if you don't, or, it's kind of, if you don't, like I say, if you don't laugh about it, you're going to cry.
Exactly.
Because it's really sad that we've done that. And, I don't know how
Next time I'll bring the popcorn.
There you go. And, you kind of alluded to it, Stephanie. Well, how do you fix that? Maybe we didn't do everything exactly correctly or stuff like that. But back in the day, if somebody would have grabbed or something and tried running out of the store, not only would the store clerk done, there would have been an arm, or anybody that would have been standing around would have grabbed the guy, whatever, say, hey, you're not going to do this. But now, if you do that, you're potentially going to get sued or doing like that. So everybody just kind of bypasses all this stuff, and it's continually getting
ridiculous.
Well, there's one real safe place in town. You know where that is?
What is it?
You know, the safest place to be in town, not watch any of that happen.
Police station.
Beautiful downtown Edgemont, the real downtown Edgemont. They don't do that down there. You don't want to mess with them people. Roy knows what it's about.
Yes.
Okay, I'll let you go.
You got it. Thanks for being on.
Bye. Thanks for the entertainment.
But
seriously, next time I'm bringing the popcorn.
It
I want to
is.
know his spot.
Oh no, you want? Oh, you again, like you
So,
said,
I'll pull
it
it
is.
out of
If you get up early in the morning and do this stuff and
No, I'm
kind
too
of
scared to do that. I would
probably peruse around, people would be amazed at that. And again, I think people are. You watch it and you see it in some of the documentaries and stuff like where they're hanging, and this stuff is going on. All of this stuff, and I mean, people are just walking by it like
it's every day.
Yeah, like it doesn't exist or this is normal. And that's what's really scary about it is when you start accepting this as the normal or allowing this to happen, you know, explain to me how that can be good for society overall and just any, you know, us individually and society overall. That just is, you know, every time that stuff has happened, you've seen ultimately whatever society, that world, that civilization collapses.
But I think people are too scared to do anything about it. I think the fear of what will happen. So if I see something crazy going on, do I want to risk my life to help somebody I don't even know? People are selfish and they don't want to do that anyway.
Well, and again, I think they're afraid.
Because you never know
yes.
what somebody has on them. What if someone has a gun
or
a knife?
That. And again, that's kind of it gets back
It's
to
the fear.
it goes back to the whole gun debate. With that, to why do you even need a concealed carry weapons permit? I mean, why back when you didn't know, or probably you did know, but because most people were carrying around firearms. Like I said, when I was a kid, I thought pickup trucks came automatically with a gun rack in the back window because they were all in there, and you've seen guys with rifles and shotguns. Practically every pickup around here had one. I mean, it was like, it was like normal. I thought they came from the factory like that because when you bought a truck, I mean, it actually came with a gun rack and a couple of guns on there. So keep that. And then we as society have tried to demonize that. Of that, and I think it has been overall at our peril. Yeah, are some people going to die from gun accidents or whatever, or is somebody going to kill you? Yeah, if somebody and
yeah,
and this
it's
is
so nonchalant.
No, this is one thing that really set me straight on that. It was, and I think he was an Israeli Mossad hit guy, and he said, that and he was being interviewed or something. I mean, he was probably retired or something like that. So the interviewer said, well, weren't you afraid, that you were doing this, that somebody was going to take you out? And he said, no. He said, think about this. He said, if somebody really wants to kill you, they will figure out how to do it.
Exactly.
And, I mean, and it really made me pause to think that, if somebody's, even if you were, let's say you were armed to the teeth or whatever, you might be packing 34 guns. What if somebody's just waiting right outside your house or around the corners or watching you and knows your tendencies, and you just walk around a corner and they just go bang? I mean, if somebody puts the time into...
That doesn't put any fear in me.
But, I mean, if somebody...
but I see what you're saying.
Right. That's what his point was. He said, I'm not in fear of that because if somebody really wants to take me out, they're going to do it.
Right.
And that was part of the outlook. So I mean that kind of solidified me, or maybe made me put away that trepidation of somebody. Well, yeah, if they're going to do it, they're probably going to do it.
That's why I don't get the whole gun thing, because first of all, I mean, I get the registration, that I do appreciate. I feel like anyone that owns a gun should register, and that way they know where these guns are going. However, if somebody really wants a gun, I can go out and get a gun. I don't need to register it. I'm sure I can find somebody that would sell me a gun. Not that I'm going to try to do that, and I'm not saying I am. I'm really not. But I feel like the whole anti-gun stuff is it's silly. It's squirrely.
I do. I think
I don't own a gun because I don't want my kids to accidentally get a hold of it, and that is a fear that I have. Therefore, I don't want to get a gun, but that doesn't mean that anybody else shouldn't be able to go get a gun. Train your kids to not touch
precisely. And even so that, even if you don't like guns or you don't want them around or you're uncomfortable around them.
Right.
Even like in your case, I mean, kids should know and even be they don't even necessarily have to shoot them, but they should see what a gun can do and what you should do if you see one.
And I believe in educating your children on a lot of things. I mean, obviously don't show them like what it can do to like a human or an animal, because that would be a little too graphic, but something.
Well, and in the case, because that is, and like I said, there's only one purpose to point at, a gun at any, or to use for any purpose, and whatever you are pointing it at, you are prepared to kill it, whether you're hunting or somebody's a threat to you, and you do not use them for offensive or to threaten people with or something. Right. Now, those people need to be in jail because they are people who need a little corrective adjustment
on. Going to correct that?
Yes, on that. Well, it might not, but in the case of like the police officer that got the CHP officer that got shot over here in Moval recently, that guy had been let out of prison early and yada yada yada. Well, if he was in there, maybe he was. I mean, maybe he would have done it some other day or something. A snapped, who knows?
Right.
But again, that's what they are for. It kind of gets a little bit into and it's going to get into, it's going to start at the first of the year where it's going to be more difficult for teachers. What is it, AB 5, I think, Assembly Bill 5, where it's going to be more almost impossible from K through 8 for teachers to
shut up.
Kick disruptive kids out of their
I thought
class.
you were going to say for teachers to get guns. I was like,
no.
I think every teacher should have a gun at school. But
if they are trained and know that,
I think they were paying teachers to go get trained.
Yes,
in firearms, and you would get a bonus if you agreed to have a firearm.
There are some states. I think there was a couple states that actually implemented that.
I think
policy.
California is one of them because I remember my father talking about it before he retired.
It did. I'm sure that's not the case now in California with our attitude on guns.
Well,
but
probably.
It probably was.
This was a couple years ago. I think kind of around the time Sandy Hook happened.
Right.
I think they rolled that out.
But I would have no problem as long as they are certified at that because. As long as they're trained and have that in that, if they're teachers, security personnel, janitors, whomever, if they are, if they are that, because your first line of defense is going to be right there at the point of attack.
Exactly.
The cops are going to be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10
Probably
minutes
longer
away.
than that.
Yeah.
No offense, but
I mean, if you're in a situation like that. I have no problem with
I would actually prefer it.
I
if
would
some
too.
crazy lunatic goes on and has a gun on my kid's school campus, I want someone to blow his brains out.
There you go. And there
is
is
too blunt.
And
Bryden writes in really quick because his comment's been waiting for a while. How is everyone? I kind of have a headache. Roy, how are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic.
Bessie's great. He's back there.
Every day's a great day. You're up on that top side of the grass.
Mm-hmm.
Of that, but no, it's like that. And again, with we're creating this society. We're creating this antiseptic society. We're trying to create this antiseptic society that doesn't exist. There are evil people in the world out there.
Hell yeah, there
are people that are that are going to take advantage of the rules or do that. It's just like the homeless person. That recently, dumped the 5 bucket of feces on that lady that's out there in the street.
I still can't believe that. I feel evil for laughing, and I'm not laughing because I think it's haha, that's funny. But oh my gosh, who would, in their right mind, obviously it wasn't, do that? That is like
exactly
that's a horror. That's a horror movie.
And we're allowing these people to sit. And
then
streets.
Why would nobody go and beat the crap out of him?
Well,
that's
in the day that would probably have happened, but now everybody's like,
no,
and again, you see that shift in society that's doing that, and that's what I'm saying is they're.
See, it's like the sad part is everybody's so angry at everybody for the wrong things. Why aren't we angry with the people that are actually damaging our city and our world? But instead, I'm going to be mad at you because you looked at me funny. You know what I mean? Not that I am. I mean, you look at me funny all the time. But it's just
astonishment
crazy.
Sometimes. But
you're making me all political. I don't like it. I want to go back to Goldfish Brain, please.
No, it is important. And
driving me insane.
And I think no other, and this is a great example of it. No other is that those men and women of the street interviews I did with the Bernie folks, and it's the same thing. Well, yeah, it all sounds great, the foo stuff, and yeah, free, but how does all this stuff work?
Yeah. I think people want to believe that there's something greater out there that's not going to cost them anything, and that's just not reality.
Exactly.
But people are buying his sales pitch.
Yes, and that's the danger. And it's a shame. And we talked to, when we called Mason Weaver last night, told me we're not going to be on the phone, and that's kind of what he talked about a little bit of that is, this is the danger of that is they're believing this. Stuff of what's going on, and that's what's pervasive, and they're convincing these people that you are going to get something, or somebody is going to take care of you when they're not. They're just using it to empower themselves. Look at, like they're calling it now, the homeless industrial complex. We used to call it the military industrial complex because these $2,000 toilet seats and all that. There is a small portion of people that are just getting absolutely hyper rich off of this homeless thing. With the $300,000 unit for 300 square feet of apartments down in L.A. and all that stuff. It's
pulling up the Amber Alert.
What's that?
There's an Amber Alert for a gold Ford Escape, California plate 6ZPF343. I'll post it in the comments. Be on the lookout for that. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's good. You're a public service announcement from Stephanie.
Yep.
You're on the ball.
Did you say 2,000 for a toilet? That's chump change.
Ford what?
So $7,000.
For what?
Toilet.
I said a Ford Escape.
No, he's talking about my example of the.
Oh, I was doing the. Never mind. Yeah. Anyways.
But no, it's part of.
We just called Ford a toilet. I love it. Okay. Anyways.
Yes, we love Toyotas, but it's incredulous of what's going on. But it's like this whole society we're creating in that, and then when things like this are, and then when it all goes haywire, people are asking, well, what happened? Like people are saying, well, you elected all these ding-dongs that are sitting up there in Sacramento or in your city councils or in your supervisor's race. Ultimately, you got to go back to looking at it's you in the mirror. You're the one that determines this, the vast majority of us. So it's like that. I mean, it's like the whole flap over the budget and all that stuff at the county. I mean, we're looking at a $3 trillion unfunded pension mandate, $300 million cash short, and the only one that even voted against the budget was Jeff Hewitt. The other four did, and they're probably doing it for political reasons of doing that, and all of them are probably, some of them I agree with a lot, some of them I don't. But, what I think we're suffering from, in society a lot is just a lack of courage. I think we're suffering from that lack of courage that Don Imus had. I'm going to tell you the way I think, the way I see it, and the way I think it should be done. And you may like it, you may not like it, anywhere in between, but that's the way it is. And that's a lot, I think. Donald Trump examples is another prime example of this. He says it the way he thinks it, the way he sees it, unapologetic or anything else. And that's what we need, more of that spirit, I think, of that. And I think that's a major reason why America, over the last 3 years since Trump has been president, overall has been seen a net plus all across the board, because they sense that.
How's our sound, Jess? We have someone writing in asking. She's asking if it's her or the computer.
Is anybody else having problems hearing us over the radio?
I think it might. No offense, but I think it might be her. So we'll see.
Of that, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, anybody else out there, just roll in the comments. See how
she said she still can't hear us.
Yeah, how the sound quality is on the webcast. So no, but
I can't really hear you either. So I don't know.
Maybe I'm not turned up high enough.
Oh, okay.
Jesse thinks everything's running hunky dory on that.
Mom, write in if you can hear us.
of the.
She's not the one that's complaining about the noise, or not complaining, but saying that there's
no sound of that. But no, it's part of the deal, and I think it is. But I mean I want to give you a lot of props and compliments on that. Is you're actually
me?
Yes.
Wait, me?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Okay. Ah, crap.
Wow, did I get your attention like never before?
I pulled out my earbud.
No, but it is, and I think it's important that that especially the younger sets start really paying attention to what actually is going on.
I don't want to. No.
It would be nice if it was, but it isn't. Because these things are going to not only affect you, but future generations on down the line. So
thank you, Anne, for writing in and letting us know.
Yes,
she said she can hear us loud and clear. Doris, I'm not sure what's going on, but I apologize for.
Yeah, is that a no? You're hearing us, or no? You are hearing us.
Anne can hear us.
Yeah,
but
she's
having a hard time
doing that of that. So no, it is, and I think you're turning the clock. And I mean that was kind of like when I was interviewing the Bernie people and stuff. Okay, and you like you say when you start asking the Pacific Crest, you can see like the wheels are turning in their head, like. Oh, I'm being forced to really think about this, not just some guy out here telling us, yeah, I'm going to just elect me and I'm going to make everything better. That is the sure. Whenever you hear that particular deal and it's kind of like the old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
And
people need to know the difference between confidence and reality.
Yes. And
ask yourself questions. Like you go out and you ask questions, and I think that's when the wheels start turning in people.
Yes.
But then you get faulted because you're the one bringing up the negative thoughts that they have in their head that they don't want to agree with.
And that's fine.
Damn. Thank you, Susan from Hooper Valley, for letting us know that you can hear us too.
That is that.
Stop teaching me things. It's not funny. Whatever, Roy.
The evolution.
2 minutes. I have a headache. I don't know why. Probably need to eat something.
Probably some enchiladas will straighten that out.
I
yes.
know. See?
Where's the best enchilada place in the Inland Empire?
No, that didn't sound right. What?
Mama Chewy's is the hot. Jesse says Mama Chewy's is a hot spot for enchiladas.
I've never been there.
I haven't been. I don't think I've been there either.
Where's it at?
On Alessandra there by Alessandra and Heacock, right? Yeah.
Just a little finger out of my eyeball.
Not anywhere close to your eye.
I felt like it was, though. I felt like it was right there. Anyways, well, this was a fun show.
Yes, it was.
I'm like learning things and getting mad with society. I don't like it.
Oh, you'll enjoy it. You'll be better off. You'll be much better off for
I'm not going to be all angry and bitter like you.
I'm the happiest person on earth.
Let's see it.
10 grand. Oh, 87.
I want one of those. Those are cool. Are those ones that squirt water? See? Why is it facing down like that, though? Oh, and then it comes up out of the little square right there. What's the other thing, like a sensor? Yes. So that's where the water goes.
Kind of cleans
and
your...
I know. It eliminates toilet paper. It does look cool. Is that like a light, the blueness?
Well, I don't know if it eliminates that because I think you want to dry that area back out when you're done. Oh, it's got
There's
air
an air dryer?
Oh, for crying out loud.
Can I borrow $9,000? I want to give me a new toilet.
Good luck with that.
Wow. And a deodorizer?
Wow.
Does it spray on you or in the toilet? I would hope on the toilet.
We'll have to test drive the
I don't. Why would you want to test drive that along with other people? That's it's gonna squirt. Anyways, I don't want to talk
Who's gonna
about
squirt what?
Nothing. I don't
Had
know.
fun today. We'll be back on Monday. We're getting ready to roll out.
Do we have a big thing on Monday coming up?
I think we have a big thing coming up on Monday.
That video is gonna be the death of me.
There you go. You got that coming up. We're just getting ready. We're getting close to rolling out 2019. and bring in
Get rid of
2020.
2019 because I hate this year.
Well, you only got a couple more days of it to hate because
Will I
it'll
make
be
it?
gone.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you'll be and come 2020, you'll be bigger, brighter, stronger, all across the board.
Hopefully. Anyways, so will you. You'll be all right. You'll be okay, kid. You got anything else?
I'm done.
I'm done too.
We're
Have a great
gone.
weekend. We're gone.